The smart ones always lose. Here is why playing the fool is the most dangerous weapon you can own. The world worships sharpness. It bows to the quick tongue, the raised eyebrow, the one who appears impossible to deceive. To be naive is considered a defect in the architecture of a person, a crack in the facade, a weakness in the beams. And so everyone reinforces their walls, thickens their doors, installs heavier locks around their pride. But here is the quiet irony. The one who fears looking foolish is already imprisoned inside his own fortress. Play a sucker to catch a sucker sounds like a trick from a dusty marketplace, something whispered between gamblers and con men. Yet beneath it lives a deeper geometry of human nature. It is not about deception, it is about gravity. Every ego is a structure built upward. Brick by brick, we construct an image of competence, intelligence, superiority. We polish the windows so others can admire the view. And the higher the tower rises, the more it must deny the possibility of being wrong, because to be wrong would introduce a fracture, and fractures, if seen, threaten collapse. Now imagine someone who walks into that tower and kneels, not in weakness, in design. He asks simple questions, he misunderstands on purpose, he allows the other person to explain, to correct, to feel taller. The ego of the other expands like a balcony pushed too far beyond its supports. And in that expansion, weight gathers. The structure strains under its own need to appear superior. Pride is heavy. When you pretend to be the lesser mind, you remove resistance. The other reveals their blueprint. They show their assumptions, their blind spots, their hidden beams of insecurity disguised as confidence. They lean over the railing of their own certainty, eager to prove they cannot be fooled. And gravity does the rest. Because the person desperate to demonstrate cleverness often overextends, they exaggerate, they reveal. They believe they are manipulating you, unaware that you have already stepped aside from the center of the room. The moment someone needs to prove dominance, they surrender awareness. Their attention narrows, their structure tilts. Meanwhile, you remain low to the ground. There is immense stability in humility, real or performed. A house built close to earth does not fear storms the way a spire does. When you are willing to appear simple, you become invisible to competition, and invisibility is freedom. The misconception is that playing the fool diminishes you. In truth, it disarms the battlefield. Consider how often arguments escalate because neither side will descend. Two towers facing each other, each insisting on height, each terrified of being the first to remove a brick. But the one who says, "Perhaps I'm mistaken, explain it to me," has already shifted the foundation of the exchange. The other relaxes, expands, speaks more than they intended. And in that speaking, truth leaks out. Not because you attacked, because you allowed. This is not about cruelty. It is about understanding structure. The ego cannot resist elevation. Offer it a pedestal and it climbs. And once elevated, it must maintain balance. The higher it stands, the more fragile it becomes. To play a sucker is to remove your own need to stand tall. It is to let the other build higher than is safe. It is to recognize that most deception relies on the victim's desire to appear smarter than someone else. If you appear already beneath them, their guard dissolves. They do not suspect the floor beneath their own feet. There is also something subtler here. When you no longer fear looking foolish, you become unmanipulatable. Insults lose traction. Mockery finds no surface to grip. The world may attempt to define you as naive, but if you accept that costume willingly, it loses its sting. You are choosing the shape of the room. And from that place, clarity grows. Because you are not fighting to defend an image, your perception remains unobstructed. You can observe without reacting. You can listen without preparing a counterattack. You see the cracks in the other's certainty and not with hostility, but with calm recognition. Quiet power is not loud. It does not demand applause. It rests close to the ground, rooted, stable, patient. The master builder does not argue with gravity. He understands it. He knows that what rises without awareness will eventually descend. And so he smiles gently when others rush to demonstrate brilliance, knowing that time and weight will reveal what force never could. To play a sucker is not to be one. It is to step outside the fragile architecture of pride and stand in open space, where no tower is needed, where no collapse can threaten you. And in that openness, you discover something almost paradoxical. The one who is willing to appear foolish is the one who cannot be fooled.